The Vatican has confirmed that as of February 24, 2025, Pope Francis remains in critical condition due to bilateral pneumonia. His health, which has steadily declined in recent days, has become a significant concern for Catholics around the world. The Pope, who has been a beacon of hope and reform in the Church for over a decade, is now facing a battle for his life. Despite receiving 2 units of red blood cells, which have slightly improved his hemoglobin levels, the Vatican has reported early signs of mild kidney failure, which are currently being monitored by his medical team. These developments have added to the gravity of his situation. At present, Pope Francis is still receiving high-flow oxygen therapy through a nasal cannula, a measure that is crucial in supporting his respiratory function. The medical team has worked tirelessly to stabilize his condition, but the road ahead remains uncertain. Before continuing, declare in the comments, "I attract prosperity and happiness into my life. I am deserving of all the riches of the universe and receive each blessing with gratitude." If you want more hidden revelations like this, subscribe and turn on the bell. Don't miss anything. While his physical health continues to decline, one of the more striking aspects of the Pope's situation is his mental and emotional resilience. Despite the gravity of his condition, Pope Francis has remained conscious, aware, and resolute in his faith. His courage in the face of such adversity serves as an inspiration to millions of Catholics worldwide, reinforcing the unwavering strength of his spiritual leadership. His devotion to his mission has been unwavering, and even in the midst of illness, he continues to reflect the ideals he has espoused throughout his papacy: humility, compassion, and a deep commitment to the marginalized. For many, Pope Francis's health struggle has become a poignant reminder of his humanity and the physical toll of his lifelong dedication to service. As Pope Francis's health becomes more precarious, speculation has surged regarding the future of the Catholic Church and the selection of his successor. The question on the minds of many is who will take on the mantle of the papacy, guiding the Church through the challenges of the modern world. Throughout history, the transition of papal leadership has had profound consequences on the direction of the Church, influencing its stance on theological issues, social justice, and its role in the global community. The papacy, often described as one of the most influential positions in the world, has a lasting impact not just on the Catholic faithful, but on the wider global community. As concerns about Pope Francis's health intensify, attention has naturally turned to the potential leaders who could rise to fill his shoes. While the process of selecting a new pope is shrouded in secrecy, 5 cardinals are widely considered to be strong contenders for the position. One of the most frequently mentioned candidates is Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines. Born in 1957, Cardinal Tagle has emerged as one of the most prominent and beloved figures in the Catholic Church today. His journey to the forefront of church leadership has been marked by his deep humility, profound theological insight, and tireless commitment to social justice. Ordained as a priest in 1982, Tagle's career in the Church has been characterized by an unwavering focus on the needs of the poor and marginalized, a theme that has defined much of his public ministry. He obtained a doctorate in theology and became an influential voice in global discussions on faith, poverty, and social inequality. In 2012, he was appointed cardinal by Pope Benedict XVI, an elevation that signified his growing importance within the Church's leadership. Tagle is particularly known for his emotional and impassioned preaching, which resonates deeply with both clergy and laity. His style has made him a beloved figure, particularly among younger Catholics who are drawn to his vision of a church that is inclusive, compassionate, and deeply committed to social justice. If elected Pope, Cardinal Tagle would be seen as a continuation of the values espoused by Pope Francis. He would likely carry forward the Pope's mission of inclusivity and outreach, emphasizing the need for compassion and mercy in a world increasingly marked by division and inequality. Tagle's theological views, while still conservative on many doctrinal issues, suggest a pope who would balance the Church's traditional teachings with a progressive stance on social issues. Tagle is also deeply committed to the pastoral care of the faithful, particularly the poor and those on the margins of society. His rise to the papacy would likely be seen as a continuation of the Church's focus on the social teachings of Christ and a reaffirmation of its commitment to service and justice for all. Another leading figure in the discussion surrounding the next pope is Cardinal Péter Erdő from Hungary. A highly respected theologian and canon lawyer, Cardinal Erdo has earned a reputation as a staunch defender of traditional Catholic doctrine. Ordained as a priest in 1975, Erdo has spent his life immersed in theological study, earning doctorates in both theology and canon law. His intellectual rigor and deep understanding of church law have made him a highly influential figure, particularly in shaping the Church's stance on contentious issues. As the Archbishop of Budapest since 2002 and a former president of the Council of European Bishops' Conferences, Erdo has played a key role in the development of the Church's position within Europe. His expertise in canon law, coupled with his commitment to doctrinal orthodoxy, has made him a significant figure in the ongoing debates within the Church regarding issues such as divorce, remarriage, and the Eucharist. In 2014, Erdo made headlines when he strongly opposed allowing divorced and remarried Catholics to receive the Eucharist, a position that aligns with his belief in preserving the purity and integrity of Church teachings. His conservative views on doctrinal matters make him a popular figure among those who seek a more traditional direction for the Church, particularly in terms of maintaining clear boundaries on moral issues. If elected Pope, Erdo would likely push for a return to a more conservative theological stance, emphasizing the importance of traditional Catholic values and the preservation of the Church's moral authority. His leadership could signal a shift toward a more structured, doctrinally conservative Church, particularly in Europe and other regions where traditional Catholicism is under pressure from secularism and social change. If you've made it this far, tell me in the comments what you think about this prophecy. I'll reply to the best comments. Another highly regarded figure is Cardinal Pietro Parolin of Italy, who currently serves as the Vatican Secretary of State, a role that is often described as the Church's equivalent of a prime minister. Born in 1955, Cardinal Parolin was ordained in 1980 and quickly rose through the ranks of the Vatican's diplomatic corps, where he developed a reputation as a skilled and effective negotiator. His expertise in international relations and diplomacy has made him a key figure in the Vatican's engagement with world politics. Parolin has played a crucial role in many sensitive and complex international matters, including the Vatican's efforts to negotiate peace in the Middle East, improve relations with China, and promote dialogue between the Church and modern societies. One of the standout aspects of Cardinal Parolin's career is his ability to navigate the difficult terrain of global diplomacy while remaining committed to the Church's doctrinal teachings. In 2023, when German bishops made the controversial decision to bless same-sex unions, Parolin reaffirmed the Church's traditional stance on marriage while also emphasizing the need for respectful dialogue. This balancing act between doctrinal fidelity and engagement with the modern world is a hallmark of Parolin's leadership style. If elected Pope, he would likely continue to focus on diplomacy and international relations, strengthening the Church's position in global affairs while ensuring that its message remains rooted in its theological foundations. His leadership could mark a new era of engagement for the Catholic Church in the modern world, one that seeks to bridge the gap between faith and contemporary society. In conclusion, the eventual successor to Pope Francis will play a pivotal role in shaping the future of the Catholic Church. As speculation surrounding the next pope intensifies, it is clear that there are several highly qualified candidates who bring unique perspectives and qualities to the table. Whether the Church moves toward a more inclusive, compassionate direction under Cardinal Tagle, or a return to traditional orthodoxy under Cardinal Erdo, or perhaps a renewed emphasis on diplomacy and global engagement under Cardinal Parolin, the next pope will undoubtedly face significant challenges as he leads the faithful through an increasingly complex world. Whatever direction the Church takes, one thing remains certain: the leadership of the Catholic Church is in a period of transition, and the decisions made in the coming months will have a profound impact on the future of the Church and its global mission. Representing the African continent, Cardinal Peter Turkson of Ghana stands as a significant figure in the Catholic Church's ongoing efforts to promote social justice, economic equality, and environmental responsibility. Born in 1948, Cardinal Turkson was ordained as a priest in 1975, and his rise within the Church has been marked by his commitment to addressing the pressing issues facing the global community. His leadership took a significant step forward in 1992 when he became the Archbishop of Cape Coast, and his influence expanded even further when Pope John Paul II elevated him to cardinal in 2003. Throughout his distinguished career, Cardinal Turkson has held several prominent positions within the Vatican, including his role as the president of the Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace. His tenure in this role allowed him to influence global discussions on critical issues, from poverty and human rights to the moral responsibility of the Church in addressing climate change. As an advocate for ecological concerns, Turkson's views align closely with Pope Francis's environmental initiatives. In particular, Turkson has called for global solidarity in the face of environmental degradation and climate change. His deep-rooted belief in the moral imperative of protecting the planet has led him to champion the Church's role in advocating for sustainable development and environmental stewardship. Through his leadership, Turkson has emphasized the need for the Church to take an active role in addressing ecological crises, recognizing the importance of protecting the Earth for future generations. As Pope, Cardinal Turkson would likely continue to advocate for these vital environmental issues, while bringing a renewed focus on Catholic social teachings that address not only the spiritual welfare of individuals, but also the material well-being of society as a whole. Alongside his environmental concerns, Cardinal Turkson has also been a staunch advocate for pro-life issues, underscoring the Church's commitment to upholding the sanctity of life from conception to natural death. His vocal support for the Church's traditional stance on issues such as abortion and euthanasia has placed him in the center of debates over the moral teachings of the Church. As a pro-life leader, Turkson has consistently emphasized the importance of safeguarding human dignity and protecting life in all its forms. Should he ascend to the papacy, his approach would likely bring a strong emphasis on Catholic moral teaching while advancing the Church's global humanitarian efforts. His papacy could see a renewed focus on issues such as poverty, migration, and inequality, alongside continued advocacy for the protection of life at all stages. Cardinal Krzysztof Schönborn, born in 1945 in what is now the Czech Republic, is another formidable contender in the race to become the next pope. A Dominican priest and renowned theologian, Schönborn has made significant contributions to the intellectual life of the Church, particularly through his involvement in drafting the Catechism of the Catholic Church. His theological acumen and deep understanding of Catholic doctrine have earned him respect both within the Vatican and across the global Church. Schönborn became Archbishop of Vienna in 1995, and in 1998 he was made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II. His leadership in Vienna has been marked by a pastoral approach that emphasizes empathy, inclusion, and the Church's responsibility to engage with contemporary societal issues. Schönborn's approach to pastoral care has been characterized by his ability to strike a balance between doctrinal integrity and compassion. Throughout his ministry, he has been deeply committed to promoting understanding and dialogue, especially in addressing complex issues such as same-sex unions and the role of women within the Church. Schönborn's advocacy for greater inclusion of marginalized groups, while still upholding the Church's core teachings, makes him a key figure in discussions about the future direction of the papacy. His efforts to foster interfaith dialogue and promote understanding between different religious traditions are also part of his broader vision for a more inclusive and compassionate Church. As Pope, Schönborn's leadership would likely continue to embrace both tradition and a more adaptive pastoral approach. His deep theological training, combined with his capacity for empathy, suggests that he would seek a middle ground between maintaining the Church's doctrinal integrity and responding to the changing needs of modern society. Under his leadership, the Church may take further steps toward addressing the complexities of contemporary life, including questions around gender, sexuality, and the role of the faithful in a globalized world. Schönborn's papacy would likely be defined by a commitment to building bridges between the Church and the broader world, while ensuring that the Church's message remains true to its foundational teachings. When a pope passes away or resigns, the responsibility of selecting the next leader of the Catholic Church falls to the College of Cardinals. These cardinals, distinguished by their red vestments, symbolize their readiness to sacrifice for the Church, and they gather in a solemn and secretive process known as the conclave. This centuries-old tradition, which dates back to the earliest days of the Church, is designed to ensure that the successor is chosen through prayer, discernment, and the guidance of the Holy Spirit. The conclave is a sacred moment in the life of the Church, where the cardinals come together to seek divine guidance in choosing a new leader. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote in the conclave, with a maximum of 120 electors participating in the election. The voting process takes place within the Sistine Chapel, where the cardinals take an oath of secrecy before casting their ballots. The election proceeds in successive rounds, and a candidate must secure at least 2/3 of the votes in order to be elected pope. If no candidate achieves the required majority, The ballots are burned with a chemical mixture that produces black smoke, signaling that no decision has been made. Once a consensus is reached, the ballots are burned again, producing white smoke that signals the election of a new pope. At this point, the chosen cardinal is asked if he accepts the role, and upon agreeing, he selects a papal name. The new pope then steps onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to offer his first blessing as the leader of the Catholic Church. The election of a new pope is not just a process of choosing a leader, it is a moment of great significance for the Church and the world. The new pope will inherit the mantle of leadership and will be tasked with guiding the Church through a rapidly changing global landscape. The challenges facing the Church in the 21st century are vast and complex, from the ongoing crisis of sexual abuse scandals to the global refugee crisis, climate change, and the shifting role of religion in public life. The new pope's approach to these challenges will shape the future of the Church and its relationship with the world. Whether the next pope follows in the progressive footsteps of Pope Francis or leads the Church toward a more traditional path, his influence will be felt by over 1 billion Catholics around the globe. Pope Francis's papacy has been defined by humility, compassion, and a commitment to social justice. Since his election on March 13, 2013, Pope Francis has prioritized the needs of the poor, advocated for environmental responsibility, and emphasized the importance of interfaith dialogue. His leadership has been revolutionary in many ways, as he has worked to address some of the most pressing issues of our time. His bold stance on social justice has often put him at odds with conservative factions within the Church. Yet his unwavering focus on reform and inclusion has made him one of the most influential popes in recent history. His emphasis on transparency, accountability, and compassion has changed the way many Catholics view the role of the papacy and the Church's place in the world. As the world watches and waits for the election of a new pope, the process serves as a reminder of the enduring legacy of the Catholic Church. The decisions made in the coming conclave will have profound implications for the future of the Church and its global mission. Whether the next pope continues the work of Pope Francis or charts a new course for the Church, his leadership will be shaped by the ongoing challenges of a rapidly changing world. In the end, the Catholic Church's ability to adapt to the needs of its followers while remaining true to its core teachings will determine the path forward in the years to come. Now that you know this, I'll leave you with this video where we reveal another shocking secret. Click here before it's too late.